Shout out to the supporters of Tupac Was Lyrical. This right here, this might be a video that some of you may not like, because I have to keep it real about the art of storytelling. I have to keep it real about why I put this particular person over the ones you probably feel I shouldn't be putting them over, but I just feel it's only right. Because Math Hoffa asked the question, who was the better storyteller, Biggie or Tupac? When it comes to storytelling, a lot of people come up in this equation. That's Tupac, that's Biggie, that's Nas, maybe Ice Cube, Eminem. But I'm going to tell y'all like this. Me personally, the greatest storyteller ever is Slick Rick. I don't put Tupac over Slick Rick. I don't put Biggie over Slick Rick. I don't put Jay-Z over Slick Rick. I don't put Nas over Slick Rick. I don't put Coogee Rap over Slick Rick. I don't put Ice Cube over Slick Rick. I don't put Eminem over Slick Rick. I don't put Kendrick Lamar over Slick Rick. I don't put any of these rappers that do stories over Slick Rick. Slick Rick's first album was called The Great Adventures of Slick Rick. And on this particular album, every song was a story. Treat them like a prostitute. Children's story. Mona Lisa. Even a song called Lick the Ball. You know what I mean? Hey Young World. Slick Rick gave you the greatest storytelling album of all time. Yes, Tupac got great stories. Still I Rise verse. Brenda's Got a Baby. Mama's Just a Little Girl. I Ain't Mad at You. Biggie got I Got a Story to Tell. Niggas Bleed. Nas got the song Rewind. Jay-Z. You know these rappers that got songs that are stories. But I put nobody over Slick Rick. Slick Rick's last album came out in 1999. It was called The Art of Storytelling. In between that, Slick Rick had an album called The Ruler's Back and Behind Bars. Now, this is what a lot of people fail to realize. At a certain point in time, I think in 1990, 91, Slick Rick went to prison. And he did over 10 years. Slick Rick was the hottest MC rapper in the game. When Slick Rick went to prison, that changed the dynamics of a lot of things, man. It changed the dynamics of a lot of things. Basically, like, we forget about those who come before Biggie, Tupac, Jay-Z, Nas, Eminem, Kendrick, any of these rappers that tell stories. We forget about that person. Now, there's probably somebody who came before Slick Rick. I'm sure of it, that told stories, because there was a lot of rappers back in the days telling stories. But one of the main stories I remember was 1985. I was 12 years old. And there was a song called
Lottie Dottie.
Dougie Fresh and Slick Rick. It was Dougie Fresh beatboxing and Slick Rick spitting the verse and Slick Rick singing in it. Like, there was a part where Slick Rick goes, It's all because of you. I'm feeling sad and blue.
You went away, and now my life is filled with rainy days. And I love
so you got Slick Rick, who was rhyming and then added singing to his shit before a lot of MCs started doing that. Slick Rick's voice has been one of the most sampled voices in hip-hop. When Slick Rick be like,
as we go a little something like this.
Like, there's so much shit that Slick Rick said, that quotables that people took. Jay-Z even took some things from Slick Rick in one of his songs.
Gather round, hustlers, that's if you're still living, and get on down to that old jig river.
Gather round, party goers, as if you're still living, and get on down to the old Slick River.
By Jay-Z, called The Ruler's Back.
So off we go, let the trumpets blow, and hold on, because the driver of the mission is a pro. The ruler's back.
And off we go, let the trumpets blow, and hold on, because the driver of the mission is a pro. The ruler's back.
Montel Jordan did Slick Rick's children's stories over and made it a club song. Like, Slick Rick is the greatest storyteller of all time. You could put any song by Tupac, any song by Biggie, any song by Nas, Jay-Z, Eminem, whoever, and these dudes got some great songs. Eminem got Stan. Nas got the song I Gave You Power. You know what? I even think that these particular artists wouldn't even put themselves above Slick Rick when it comes to storytelling. At least that category alone. Slick Rick deserves that. Slick Rick was gone for 10 years or more. Slick Rick is from the UK, family from Jamaica. Slick Rick had this unique voice, this style of rhyming, this style of dressing. Slick Rick was rocking all the jewelry. Even Tupac said,
look, come on, man. I got more jewels than Slick Rick. Slick Rick loved the nigga to fucking death, but I'm definitely doing it.
But nobody, when it even comes to the jewelry, nobody can outdo Slick Rick when it comes to that. Slick Rick was a game changer, bro. And when it comes to storytelling, who don't know Children's Story? Who don't know Mona Lisa, bro? Who don't know Hey Young World? And if you don't know this album, The Art of Storytelling, then you need to listen to it. Every song on his final album in 1999 is a story. And you got to listen to how Slick Rick went back into the 14th century, talking about kings and queens and peasants and things. Slick Rick was changing his voice.
Bring Slave forward, let me observe. He asked me my name and start badgering me. Ricky what? Ricky, your majesty.
The ad-libs, when you talking about who's the best storyteller between Biggie and Tupac, don't do that. Don't do that. Because only thing that keeps doing, it gives people an opportunity to discredit Tupac as an artist. It gets people to have contentious debate saying, nah, Biggie was more complex. Biggie painted a vivid picture. No, Tupac did this and Tupac did that. They both did. And I believe that consciously or subconsciously, Tupac and Biggie, Nas and Jay, Eminem and whoever else, they learned that from Slick Rick, bro. They was playing Slick Rick in the party. And I was just like, yo, this Children's Story is the greatest story song of all time. Yes, Brenda's Got a Baby is dope. Yes, Biggie's I Got a Story to Tell is dope. But when it comes, it's not even just respect and honor. It's just straight factual. When you go back and listen to Children's Story, listen to it. Uncle Ricky, can you please tell us a bedtime story? All right, you kids get the bag. I get the storybook. All right. And then here we go. Once upon a time, not long ago. Even started it off like that. Where people wore different pajamas and lived like slow. Well, lost the stern and justice stood. And people always acting like they all too good. The little boy who was misled by another little boy. This is what he said. Me and you, Stomp, we gonna make some cash. Robbing old folks and making a dash. You gotta go back and listen to what Slick Rick was saying. You gotta go back and listen to what he was spitting. He was painting the picture of storytelling. He was painting that shit so it can be vivid. So people like Tupac a few years later can make a song like Brenda's Got a Baby. Or, you know, a song like Biggie a few years later so he can make a song like Suicidal Thoughts. Or some years later where Nas can make a song like Rewind or I Gave You Power. Or I Know I Can, which is not really a storytell. It was really an interpretation or an imitation or an emulation of what Slick Rick presented.
You can be
Go back and listen to Nas. I Know I Can. He was rhyming like Slick Rick. Slick Rick is a dope MC who doesn't get his praise, who doesn't get his props. And when it comes to storytelling, others are placed above him and he gets buried underneath. So me personally, like I said, Tupac is my #1 hip hop artist of all time. He's my favorite MC. But when it comes to certain categories and things like that, and when it comes to a certain level of honor and respect, I can't put Tupac over Slick Rick when it comes to the storytelling shit. I just can't. Because I know how much Slick Rick's first album in 1988, 16. I'm 16 years old at that time. I know how it affected our lives. It made us party, and then it also made us stink. Slick Rick was like Dave the dope fiend shooting dope who don't know the meaning of water nor soap. He said, I need bullets. Hurry up, run. The dope fiend pulled out a spanking shotgun. He ran outside and there was cops all over. Then he dipped into a car, a stolen Nova, raced up the block doing 83. He crashed into a tree at the university. He escaped alive, but the car was scattered. Rat-a-tat-tatted and all the cops scattered. Ran out of bullets and he still had static. Come on, man. Come on, man. Give Slick Rick his props when it comes to storytelling. Yes. Biggie, Nas, M, J, Kendrick, any other rappers out there that did stories, they did freaking great. They did absolutely phenomenal with their songs. I'm not taking that shit away from nobody. But when it comes to that, it's the teacher. Even KRS-One had dope stories. Love's Gonna Get You and stuff like that. But still, I am putting nobody above Slick Rick when it comes to the art of storytelling. So when you start talking about who was the better storyteller, Biggie or Tupac, especially when you always keep comparing them two, you better bring Slick Rick in that equation. You better bring Slick Rick in that conversation and break that shit down so you can stop this contentious debate that you keep having with Biggie and Tupac. They were great storytellers. They were great rappers. They was great MCs. They were great artists. But on this particular subject right here, storytelling, it goes to Slick Rick, man.